What is Looksmaxxing? And why are so many teen boys on TikTok suddenly focused on their appearance? It sounds like simple self-improvement, but for some young men it becomes something much more extreme. In today's episode, we're breaking down the Looksmaxxing trend, how it's impacting teen boys' confidence and self-esteem, and how moms can guide their sons toward healthy identity, real confidence, and lasting self-worth. Welcome to Raising Boys with Purpose, a Christian parenting podcast for moms raising teens and young adult sons. I'm Brooke, a boy mom and parenting coach, and here we talk about raising sons, building character, and preparing our boys for adulthood with confidence and faith. Now, before we jump in, if you're enjoying the podcast and it's encouraging you, I'd love for you to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you're looking for a community of moms who are learning to raise boys into young men, I'd love to invite you to join us in the Raising Boys with Purpose Facebook group. You'll find the link in the description. It's a space for encouragement, real conversations, and support, because you're not meant to figure this out alone. When I first heard about Looksmaxxing, I immediately thought of the young adult books Uglies and Pretties by Scott Westerfeld. In that series, there's a fictional world where at 16, everybody goes into a facility for an extreme makeover. Plastic surgery to the max. And they actually look forward to it because they're convinced there's something wrong with them. But now they're finally perfect. But what happens is that it doesn't just change how they look, it changes who they are. They become almost unrecognizable, a little dull, self-absorbed, completely focused on their appearance and this idea of perfection. So much so that they stop noticing what's going on around them. And when I heard about Looksmaxxing, I couldn't help but see the parallels. As a mom of boys, most of my parenting life has been filled with mischief, roughhousing, sports, and video games. But there's also this sweetness that's hard to explain. Yet every mom of boys knows exactly what I mean when I say it. Now, I don't have daughters, but I've been blessed with nieces and a goddaughter who have kept me in the loop on all the girl things. So I've always tried to stay aware of the pressures girls face, especially when it comes to appearance, so I could be intentional in how I encourage them. But honestly, when it came to boys, it didn't feel like looks were the main focus. There were other conversations to have, other things to guide them through. And now I'm noticing something new. Looksmaxxing is the process of maximizing one's physical attractiveness. On the surface, it can sound like simple self-improvement. And in some ways, parts of it are. But there are different levels. There's soft maxing, which includes non-surgical, generally safe ways to improve appearance. And then there's hard maxing, which moves into extreme and permanent enhancements. Things like injectables, bone smashing, and very restrictive dieting, all with the goal of achieving a high-tier aesthetic. And here's the thing. Self-improvement itself isn't the problem. We want our sons to better themselves. We want them to eat healthy, to exercise, to grow, to learn, to step out of their comfort zones, and to build confidence. But what happens when that desire crosses a line? When improvement becomes driven by insecurity or fear, when it becomes about fixing something they believe is wrong with them. So how do we help our sons navigate that? I think the first place we have to look is at ourselves. How do we talk about ourselves? How do we treat ourselves? How do we talk about the men in our lives? We've long understood that how we handle our insecurities affects our daughters, but what about our sons? Are we aware of how our words shape the way they see themselves? Do we realize they may compare themselves to the men we talk about and quietly decide they don't measure up? Our sons are more observant than we think. They notice. So take a moment and really reflect on this. What are you modeling for your son? Because a healthy lifestyle isn't just about food and exercise. It's about attitude too. And if you recognize areas to where your mindset needs to shift, that's okay. Start there. Talk about it. Let your family see you're working on it. That alone can open the door for deeper conversations and give you the opportunity to encourage your son to speak more kindly to himself too. Now, this next part can be a little tricky, but I'm just going to say it. Our sons aren't perfect. They might have acne. They might carry a little extra weight before a growth spurt. And when they look in the mirror, they often see every single imperfection that comes with puberty. Their bodies are changing, and they need us to guide them in how to care for themselves in a positive, healthy way. That means being kind, but also honest. Sometimes even using a little humor. They need to know it's time to shower more often, that hygiene matters, that taking care of their bodies looks different now than it used to. Maybe that means a doctor's visit for acne. Maybe it's encouraging better food choices or more movement. But the way we have these conversations matters, because we're not just helping them fix surface level issues. We're teaching them how to see themselves as a whole person, not just a list of flaws. And then there are the boys who seem to have it all together. The ones who hit their stride early. They carry a different kind of pressure. The pressure to stay that way, to stay in shape, to look good, to succeed. And a lot of that pressure isn't even spoken. It's internal. They may feel like if they mess up, they'll disappoint people, that they'll be seen differently. And often, we don't even realize they're carrying that. So as parents, we need to bring those expectations into the open. We need to remind them, clearly and consistently, that our love doesn't change based on performance. That even if they have a bad day or walk away from something we've invested years into, we're still for them. Now, while the max looking trend on TikTok tends to focus on young men in their early 20s, our teen sons are watching. And even if they can't access some of the more extreme procedures yet, they can still begin experimenting with what they see. So what do? We help them build confidence in who they already are. Psalms 139, 13-14 reminds us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. That truth matters. We need to speak that into their lives and help them understand that they don't need to become someone else to be valuable. At the same time, Ephesians 5:29 tells us that no one ever hated their own body, but nourishes and cares for it. So this isn't about ignoring health or growth. It's about balance. It's about teaching them to care for their bodies without trying to change who they are. And this isn't a one-time conversation. It's ongoing. We ask questions, we listen, we give them space to be honest, because they know when we're trying to make them feel better without really hearing them. So instead, we meet them where they are, and then we help them make a plan, one that focuses on healthy, sustainable growth, something that even becomes a family shift, eating better together, moving more together, supporting each other. We can't forget boys feel pressure too. They're figuring out how to grow up just like girls are. And there will be moments when their confidence dips. And when we stay connected, when we listen, when we guide, we help them build something deeper than confidence in their appearance. We help them build confidence in who they are. Now, while the pressure on our teens is real, the pressure on us as parents is real too. There's so much to navigate, so much to teach. And it can feel overwhelming, especially when something new like this pops up. But this is where connection matters most. Open communication with our sons is key, because when they feel safe coming to us, that's half the battle. And in those moments when we realize they've been struggling quietly, we're not walking through that alone. We have a God who loves us, and He will guide us as we support our sons and help them grow into the men they're meant to be. If this episode of Raising Boys with Purpose encouraged you, please like this video and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes of this podcast. And if you're raising a teen or young adult son and want encouragement and practical guidance, come join us in the Raising Boys with Purpose Facebook community. The link is below. Thanks for being here today. Now grab your iced coffee, hug your son, and remember, you're raising him with purpose.